Hey guys, it's Generalkidd here. How's everyone doing today? So, for today's video, well, it's finally happened. Halo 3 has finally come to PC. More specifically through MCC. But, yeah, it's finally here. Like, just a few years ago, I never would have imagined Halo 3, or really MCC, would ever come to PC. But here we are. Through the MCC Insider, which is basically like a preview of Halo 3, it's here, and we're going to be taking a look at what's in the Insider build and what to expect from Halo 3 when it comes to the full MCC. So, let's get right into it. One of the new things that have been added is a new section on the settings menu, which is a challenge hub. So, as you remember from one of my previous videos, challenges were being added to MCC, and now we could see what it's going to materialize as. And we got a bunch of seasonal, weekly player versus player challenges, player versus enemy challenges, and they give you like season points as well as XP. So a lot of challenges you could do, and that's campaign and stuff like that. But the next thing is armor customization. This is another really big one too, actually. So much like they did with Halo Reach, they finally added like full customization for Halo 3's armor. Before, they only had certain sets of armors in Halo 3, predetermined sets, and you couldn't change like the individual pieces. But now, you can change the individual pieces, and it works for both Spartans and Elites. Now, Elites still have a little bit of work to do. As you can see, it's a little buggy, and like the different pieces stack on top of each other. And there's a lot of placeholder text for the Elite armors. But, this is, like I said, this is just an insider build, so there's bound to be a few rough edges, and I'm sure it'll be fixed by the time the final game comes out. As for nameplates, no new ones yet that we could see on the insider build. And settings, well, there's actually new controls that have been added. There's a few related to like dual wielding and stuff for Halo 3 specifically, but there's also now Forge controls and theater controls as well for Halo 3. And Forge controls specifically is actually very important and pretty awesome. And that's because Halo 3 comes with Forge. Forge was actually missing from Halo Reach and Halo 2 Anniversary when they launched, but it is launching with Halo 3 now, and well, we can take a look at what's in Forge, and well, there's a lot of improvements with Forge. So much that I could actually do like a whole individual video on just what's been improved and added to Forge. So for this video, we'll just be kind of skimming through all the stuff in Forge, all the new stuff. But as you can see already, they've added a lot of new awesome stuff in Forge on multiple maps. Like the Elephant is now available on other maps other than Sandtrap. The AA Wraith is now available in Forge from Campaign. This is like a vehicle that you had to actually do a glitch to be able to drive in Campaign. But now you can just simply forge it and get into it. And unlike Campaign, if you guys remember when you get out the AA Wraith in Campaign, it closes and then explodes. Well, now it doesn't do that anymore. You can actually freely get in and out without the Wraith exploding. So it's pretty awesome. And there's also a lot of other stuff added, such as troop transport warthogs, the destroyed warthog with a working turret from Campaign, shade turrets, a bunch of other stuff. Even like the auto turret. The auto sentry from Campaign has been added, but it's still not quite working yet. For some reason, when you throw the auto turret, it counts as like an enemy, and it will attack you. And if it takes you out, it counts as you taking yourself out essentially. So you get penalized for that. But some other interesting stuff they added to Forge, aside from a bunch of new objects and vehicles, they also added the ability to change the physics of scenery objects, such as phased or fixed or normal. And yeah, the phased physics is pretty awesome. You can only phase the other scenery, not vehicles with it, but it's extremely useful because back in the day, if you wanted to phase things in Forge, you had to do a ghost merging glitch, and it's tedious and such a hassle. And now you could just simply switch it to phased and just merge in other objects. So yeah, a lot of stuff added, and this is just on the map sandbox. There are a couple other maps in Halo 3 Forge with a bunch of new stuff added as well. And each one of them have a few unique objects as well. I don't think there's a single map that has everything on it. But yeah, so another cool feature is there's a new special tools menu now for Forge. And this gives you very precision editing with Forge objects. You can you can, adjust the position of objects like very fine, like fine tune it essentially, and it will, move exactly like what you select there, and it has a rotation snap as well. Now, the next map I mentioned, I mentioned a couple maps also had, these new objects in Forge. The next one is Foundry. This one also has a lot of new objects, and all these like visual effects have also been added to Foundry as well. And you can apply all these filters, but it seems like there's weird glitches if you try to stack some of them, which as you can see, like some of them actually don't have any effects when I stack them. But I don't know, it could be a bug. I'm not sure. I don't really use filters too often. But yeah, see a lot of other scenery objects here that weren't on Sandbox. A lot of these were from the map Ghost Town, I think, but I don't quite remember. But either way, a lot of unique objects that aren't on Sandbox, and I'll show you the next map in just a second. But yeah, each of these maps, they all have a whole new palette of a lot of new objects, and your budget's been increased too, so you can forge a lot of huge maps, a lot of creative stuff that you couldn't before due to the limited budget and items. So the next map is Avalanche. This is the last map that has new stuff on it, actually. And just like Sandbox, it has a lot of the same vehicles, like AA Wraiths and Elephants, whereas Foundry has new vehicles but does not have the Elephant, which makes sense because the Elephant wouldn't really fit well on Foundry. But anyways, that's all the maps with new stuff added to them. Now, unfortunately, on Sandtrap, the Elephant is not forgeable still, even though it is forgeable on the other maps. But some new stuff have been added to Sandtrap, like the Plasma Rifle. If you remember, you actually could not spawn the Plasma Rifle in Forge on OG Halo 3. I don't remember if there's any other non-spawnable weapons that are now available on Sandtrap. Like, some of these, I don't remember if they were always there or not. But yeah, at least they added the Plasma Rifle. And of course, all the new Forge features, like the physics adjustment, the special tools, they all work still on other maps. It's not just on the new maps, not just on Sandbox, Foundry, or Avalanche. However, phased physics doesn't quite work on these scenery objects, at least on Sandtrap. But you can still set them to fix and stuff and have things spawn floating. You just can't necessarily phase everything through other stuff. So that is kind of a limit with like those big new Forge maps with a bunch of objects. But it's still helpful and you can still do stuff. Alright, so next up we have Campaign. This is also including the Insider build, and I'm sure a lot of people are very interested to see what the Halo 3 campaign looks like on PC. Well, here you have it. It looks great. It's very beautiful on PC, especially if you like crank up the graphics to maximum. So it's definitely a whole new experience. Although personally, it looks like the Xbox One X version to me, graphics-wise. But the biggest difference is that now, aside from 4K, because you did it on the Xbox One X as well, now you can also turn on higher frame rates than just 60 FPS. You can go pretty high actually. I've managed to, on one of my PCs, I've been able to hit like 500 FPS or something in Halo 3, if I remember. But yeah, it's a pretty cool experience to play Halo 3 at ultra high frame rates. But that's Campaign is otherwise exactly what you expect. I haven't encountered any major issues with Campaign at all, actually. So I think there's like a few minor things here or there, but again, I'm sure a lot of them will be fixed by the time the full game comes out. Now, next up, another thing that Halo 3 is famous for is its multiplayer. Multiplayer also works pretty great on PC, and with the new Forge stuff, I'm actually pretty interested in seeing all these like community-made maps again and matchmaking with all the new Forge objects. I'm sure there's be some pretty awesome things out there, as well as custom games as well. Like back in the day, I would host like infection games all the time on OG Halo 3 on a 360, and I just had so many infection maps that I made myself or that other people did, and it was just so fun back in the day. And now we can finally do it again on PC and with new stuff added too. Like, I don't know, I'm sure like do like Elephant in the minefield or something on Sandbox, and that might make for an interesting map. But who knows? That's just a thing I just thought of randomly. But plenty of opportunities and potential. Next up, we have Theater Mode. So Theater Mode did finally get introduced with the previous update on MCC with Halo 2 Anniversary, and you could only use it on Halo 2 Anniversary multiplayer because that's the only one that supports Theater Mode, and it worked great. And likewise, Halo 3 also works great with theater mode on PC. Like Forge, it also has like new keyboard and mouse controls, and they're pretty intuitive, I think. But although I'm still not 100% used to it on keyboard and mouse, I still prefer to do Forge and theater with a controller. But that's just my personal preference. But yeah, so overall, that is what Halo 3 is like on PC so far. Now, like I said, this is just the Insider flight, the Insider build. So it's kind of like a beta version, and there's definitely a few rough edges here and there, which I have no doubt a lot of it will be fixed by the time it fully releases on PC. But overall, this is shaping up to be a really beautiful release of Halo 3, a really great release. I know previous releases have had issues, especially with Halo 2, but this time around, so far everything feels pretty solid on the Insider build, and I haven't encountered any major issues myself yet. But yeah, so once the full game comes out, I'll definitely do a much more in-depth analysis of Forge and other stuff like that. But for now, that wraps it up for this video, and hopefully you guys did enjoy it and found it to be interesting. If you did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like, leave your thoughts and comments. Anything else you want to check out or look into, any questions you have, just let me know. But other than that, if you have the Insider flight, enjoy. And aside from that, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye, guys.